Hello, this is the second half of our two-parter of Tastykakes and Flying Under the Radar, read by Robbie.
Before dawn on the fourth morning, Travis dunked the metal pipe into the muddy water, successfully rinsing the dirt away but leaving a coating of watery mud in its place. As he admired his handiwork, he heard footsteps behind him, and a figure cast a shadow over the water. Travis's heart leapt in his throat as he turned around. He was expecting the cops to be standing behind him, ready to run him into the ground, but a young woman, perhaps 28 years old, was standing there regarding him with a sympathetic stare. "I take it you're the rogue vigilante everyone's been talking about," she questioned before Travis could so much as back away. Travis dug his heels into the ground and crossed his arms over his chest. "And you are?" "Just another leaf in the wind, same as you, only I managed to fly under the radar much better than you seem to." Travis sighed. "Look, I'm a little eager to disappear, so if you could kindly move along, and I just wanted to warn you that you ought to skip town." "I can make that decision on my own." The mysterious young woman shrugged and turned to walk away, the belt on her tan trench coat billowing out behind her. "Don't say I didn't warn you." Travis tried to stop himself from staring at the slowly disappearing image of the woman walking away from him, but there was an air of familiarity about her, as though he had seen her somewhere before. Perhaps it was the way her cropped dark hair was disheveled as though she had taken to it with a pair of safety scissors, or the way the gleam in her eyes failed to match the coldness of her voice. But looking at her felt like a case of déjà vu, as if he'd known her many years ago, in a time long forgotten. It had been nearly a month. In that time, the city of Pittsburgh had erupted into pandemonium. Newspapers and tabloids milked the story of the anonymous vigilante for all it was worth. Sales skyrocketed, and publications were flying off newsstands faster than the presses could print them. He was described as a tall male in a long coat. Some description, Travis had thought upon first reading it. That really could be anyone. Early in the mornings, Travis made the trek from wherever he had been camping out, in an alley, under an overpass, in an abandoned parking lot, to the center of the city and picked up the morning edition of the newspaper. On this particular day, he sat down on a nearby bench and opened the paper, letting the bold headline, "Local Vigilante Strikes Again, 12 Robberies Halted in Last Week," conceal his face. He chuckled at the authorities' inability to snuff him out from right under their noses. Perhaps he wasn't so bad at flying under the radar after all. The wind whipped between skyscrapers, and passer-by paid the man no attention. Travis rolled the paper up and under his arm and walked off toward the grocery store to buy something for breakfast. On the same evening, dark clouds rolled in waves, covering what was left of the sun in an ominous blanket of gray. Thunder roared in the distance and echoed through the streets of Pittsburgh with a vengeance, as though it were coming to strike Travis down itself. The man in question took shelter in a local cafe, sipping at a chai latte and reminiscing about a time many years ago when the air had been clear and the neighborhood warm and inviting. Suburban scents of freshly mown grass and honeysuckle wafted through the air, and the canopy of oak leaves above acted like a dome that kept the sun from reaching the yard. 14-year-old Travis Carter breathed deeply, grimacing at the sudden presence encroaching on him. Slowly he opened his eyes. "You're blocking my view, Leanne," he remarked irritably. "Your view of what?" the girl before him asked, narrowing her eyes. "The inside of your eyelids?" Travis sat up and scrambled to his feet, brushing grass from his shorts. "Why are you so annoying?" Leanne smirked, her eyes glinting beneath her cropped dark hair. "That's what neighbors are for, aren't they?" Travis sighed, tilting his head back and grumbling angrily at the leaves over his head. "Whatever, Leanne. Did you want something, or what?" "I want you to run away with me." The words went in one ear and out the other so fast, Travis barely had time to process them. "Come again?" he asked, eyebrows raised in surprise. "I said I want you to run away with me." "I heard you the first time," Travis muttered in surprise. "No, I'm not running away with you. Are you crazy?" Leanne made a valiant effort to persuade him, but Travis remained immutable. He would be surprised in the days, weeks, years that followed that Leanne managed to slip away under the radar so easily. The cafe door burst open, accompanied by the screeching of police sirens, and brought the wind and rain with it, snapping Travis out of his reverie. Faster than lightning, a blur of dark hair and tan coat rushed into the cafe, spotted Travis in the corner, and dragged him by the wrist out of the building before the man had time to blink. He found himself taking off after her and letting the pounding of their feet in the wet pavement do the talking. Finally, she stopped running, pulling Travis aside into an alleyway until the blaring sirens of the police cars had passed them by. "I thought I recognized you, Leanne," Travis mumbled. Leanne didn't look him in the eye. "It took you long enough." "I don't get it," Travis admitted. "I don't get why you ran away or why you never came back or why you dragged me from my comfortable position in a cafe just to run from the cops with you." Leanne finally met his gaze. "I don't know why I did any of that," she told him. "But you're glad I dragged you out of here anyway, aren't you?" Travis didn't respond, not at first. He shoved his hands in his pockets and watched the rain pooling at his feet. Then he nodded and said, "But I don't get it. I thought you were good at flying under the radar." "Haven't you learned that you can't just disappear without a trace so easily?" Leanne hollered. "The world doesn't work like that, Travis. I've spent 13 years trying to fly under the radar, and yet here I am, running from the cops in the middle of a storm because I had to go and get myself into trouble again." "That's all you ever do, isn't it, Leanne? Run away?" Travis shouted over the pounding rain. "Like you're one to talk, and that's just it, right? We try so hard to disappear off the face of the earth, and yet we can't help but draw attention to ourselves like the miserable, hopeless fools we are." Travis fell silent, hoping the rain would wash away the silence, but the thunder and lightning crashing overhead just made any moment of peace impossible. "I tried to take a taxi someplace where nobody knew my name," he mused. "But of course I had to run into you. I guess you never can erase what's already been set in stone." Leanne turned her back on Travis. "You can't erase your own existence, Travis. It's just not possible." "Travis Carter!" The two adults wheeled around in surprise. Across the street, 3 armed policemen stared Travis down, the streetlights glinting off their badges even in the pouring rain. Travis's hand flew to the inner pocket of his trench coat. With a certain level of surprise and horror, he realized he'd left his wallet on the cafe table, which meant he'd left his credit card and the picture of his son in full view of the police. They'd finally made the connection. Travis's stomach dropped. In an instant, he took off running, ignoring the angry calls of the police chasing after him. He darted between buildings in an effort to evade capture, and the heavy raindrops struck his skin until it stung. In the distance, he spotted Leanne running in all different directions, but he made no move to follow her. How could he slip away unnoticed if he stuck with the one person in town who knew him at all? He stopped in the street with the shock of it all, because then again, how could he leave behind the only familiarity he had left in this world? He didn't have much time to think on it. The rain obscured his vision, and he was lost with no idea where he had gotten himself off to. Travis began to wonder if he should have called that taxi in the first place. Travis had never been very good at making the right decisions at the right times. The blinding headlights coming toward him through the blur of the raindrops failed to move him from the sudden stunned position on the street. Instead, they scattered the remaining Tastykakes in his coat pockets from across the pavement, setting them asunder until they, like Travis himself, became just another familiarity lost to the storm.
Techno-trashcan loves reviews, so why not go over and leave him one via the link below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye for now.